Hey you guys, it's me. I just finished The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. Oh my gosh, this book was great. The last 100 pages are the best, I have to say. This book was alright. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars just because that ending made it better. I like Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson better than this book, but I still enjoyed this one. I mean, if I had to rank it, it'd come second. Really like Clark, I really like Andy, I love Toby, I want there to be a book about Toby. Could they just, I wish there was a book about Toby and her getting with someone, because that would be great. This is my first impression after finishing the book. I thought it was great, but I would read Since You've Been Gone first because some of the characters do show up from Since You've Been Gone in this book, and it made me so freaking happy. But I'll talk about that more in my actual review, so I will pass it over to Jessica when she's a little less, like, just on the highs of people getting together. So, yeah, Hey guys, it's me Jessica, and today I'm doing a review for The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I know, I look really girly right now, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just like, ooh, collared shirt, ooh, collared shirt. Well, tank top, really. Alright, so let's talk about The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars, which I told you guys in the other part of the video. I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I love that book so much. I freaking love Frank, and I love Emily, and I love Dawn, and I love Collins. And I'm so excited that they were in this book, that they made a cameo. Made me very happy. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Andy, Clark, Tom, Palmer, Bree, and Toby. We're talking about all of those guys. So a quick overview. Andy is our main character, and her dad is a congressman who is part of this scandal within his like organization, I guess, kind of. And so he says he's going to step down until the investigation is done, and then he will go back to being a congressman, and so that takes place during the whole entire summer. Now, because of the scandal that happens, Andy's summer is just put into ruins, and she has no clue what she's going to do, and a lot happens. So that's kind of an overview. I'm going to talk about some stuff real quick. Like I said, I did enjoy this book. It was very slow in the beginning, just kind of like building up to everything that was going to happen, and I mean, it was kind of a quick read. It took me about 3 days to read, doing finals and then having nothing else to do. The scene was a little weird. It was slightly slow. This is the problem I have with contemporaries, is just that it's very slow. All the very important plot points that happen aren't the like action-packed stuff that I like, so it takes me a little while getting used to contemporaries like this. I had expected it to be similar to Since You've Been Gone, and it wasn't. But it was still good nonetheless, and I'm gonna go into spoilers now because I really kind of want to talk about it because I literally just finished it, and I know you saw my reaction, but it hasn't been a day or anything like that. It's probably been an hour since I finished this book, so I really want to talk about it. So here we go, we're going into spoilers now. The two relationships that I loved in this book were Clark and Andy and her father. Those two were my favorite relationships that build and progressed in this story. I loved it a lot. I guess I want to start with Andy and her dad because I feel like that's the most important to me, especially in the end when he decides not to run for congressman anymore, and they're gonna adopt a dog and like all this other stuff, and it just made me so happy that in the end her dad really does value his relationship with Andy, and she does the same, and how they were watching all those John Wayne movies together. Even though she like complained about it a little bit, she did, like, I felt like she did like them. So I was really happy with how they went to this, like, they never saw each other, to where they had awkward encounters like in the kitchen, and then like that moment when she tells them all the stuff that she's been holding in about how they never talk about her mother and how he's never there, even though he said he values his relationship with her in his book, and all this other stuff. And that like moment, I almost cried. It was such a huge moment for her and for her relationship with her dad. It was so big. And then he's like, hey, let's go out for ice cream, and they talk about it, and they make a plan, because they're very analytical people, so they're like, we need to make a plan, we need to make a strategy for this. And then, okay, so then there's her and Clark. I freaking love Clark. I mean, like, the first time you see Clark, he has a Star Wars shirt on, so like, I'm immediately in love with this guy. And he's a novelist, he's a fantasy author, which, oh, I love that a lot too, and how he can write. And I knew, like, immediately but the old man was talking about, in the library, he was talking about the book that Clark wrote, and I was like, oh my god, Clark wrote that book, because it's like, it's C.B. McAllister or something like that. I'm like, Clark wrote the book, Clark wrote it, that's why he's at that house. That is just, oh, and I was right. When I was right, I was like, oh, yeah, of course I'm right. It's so great. I like being able to guess that, because it wasn't like a huge plot point or anything. But I did like that a lot, and I like how he was very nervous around her, and like he had started using the dog walking service just so he could see her again. Oh, that like, it was so adorable. He was like actively trying to see her again, and then like, he was just like, but I'm really, really nervous. And that one part where they're both trying to ask each other out and they're all really nervous about it. Oh, I loved it so much. I love their awkwardness, and then they become like this really cute, adorable couple that I really, really adored. It's just Andy annoys me just a little. Like, from the beginning, she was kind of pretentious. Like, when she was going for the dog walking, when she was doing the dog walking interview with Maya, she was like, this is beneath me, and like all this stuff, and I was like, come on, Andy, this is the best you can get. Take it or leave it. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm definitely like Palmer, where I'm like, glass is half full, you gotta see the bright side of things. Just because things aren't going the way you planned doesn't mean that this is not the way it's meant to be. You know, I'm that type of person, so I was definitely with Palmer, and I wish there was a little more of Palmer in there, because I feel like, I feel like there needed to be more of Palmer being optimistic with Andy, because I feel like that's something Andy kind of needed. I don't know, I just felt like a little more Palmer could have been in there. Really like Toby, but towards the end I didn't like Toby when she just couldn't forgive Bree for being with Wyatt, and she was like, you want to be friends again, Bree? Okay, break up with Wyatt. And I was like, no, you don't ask your friend to do that. When Bree and Andy were talking about her and Wyatt, and she's like, you find out about Wyatt and I, and the first thing you think about is how this is going to affect Toby. And I was like, that's so true. Toby is that one friend that you always try to protect, and like everyone always considers that person. And and because of that, because they're so coddled, they can't think about other people. I felt so much sympathy with Bree that's why she kept it a secret, because she didn't want to hurt Toby's feelings. But at the same time, she was pissed because she couldn't have all these things that Toby has, you know, being coddled, being able to tell her friends that she liked this guy, even though, and it was just like, oh, I didn't like that part, and I like understood why it needed to be there, because it was the catalyst for Andy realizing that things are changing and she doesn't want things to change, and it makes her like resort back to her being in this little shell where she doesn't feel a lot, and that's why things happen with Clark, and that's why she like shuts out her dad. Well, it like starts with their dad, but like the huge turning point is Bree and Wyatt and having to tell Toby type of problem. And like it was the catalyst. It was the thing where she's like, I need to resort back to me not caring about anyone except for my friends and trying to keep this together, and she pushed Clark away, which made me so mad. It made me so mad. And then like she goes with Troff, and she figures out that, or Toph, or what's his name? Topher? I think his name is like Topher. But yeah, and then she goes with him, and then she's like, crap, I have feelings for this. I have feelings for Clark. And I love in the end when she goes to the book thing, when she goes to the bookstore, and she's like, I have a question. And he's just like, oh my god, she's there. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And so she asks, and she's like, maybe she tells him that she loves him and that she was just scared. And I was like, ah, yes! It's so great. The ending was my favorite part. I love the ending a lot. how she goes and tells her dad that this is what the governor's going to do, and then her dad is like, let me help you out now, and then they trying to get Toby and Bree together. It doesn't really work out, but then they go and then they do the things with Clark, and then Clark is just, oh, I love it a lot. I wish things had gone a little better in the end with Toby and Bree. I really wish a lot of that had happened, and I really wish Bree and Wyatt had stayed together, because I feel like them breaking up was just like, then what was the, I didn't like that part with just how the Toby and Bree thing was resolved, because like, yeah, they need to figure out who they are without each other because everyone associates them a lot, and I wish it was just done better. That's all I really wanted, was it to be done better. Yeah. So I want to talk about Andy's mom, because Andy's mom is such a large presence within the book, because, you know, she's talked about a lot. There's like 1 or 2 flashbacks of her, and of course there's her paintings and the house. When I saw that their old house was torn down, that hurt. Like, that really hurt a lot, because I was just like, you want those memories, you know. I wish that Andy had the opportunity to take pictures of all the drawings in the house, you know, of her mother, so that she at least had them. And I really liked how in the end she got the car, even though she was supposed to get it for her 18th birthday. I was a little mad with Andy being like, I wish my mom had left me something. And I mean, yeah, she did leave you with something, you know? And it wasn't just all the feminine products, but she had a lot of impact on your life, and whether or not you see it, she left a mark there. And I was a little upset with her with Andy when she was talking about how she felt like her mom didn't leave her anything. And it made me, I was a little upset about that, but I understood it at the same time. Clark's journey, I really like Clark's journey from just kind of having his writer's block to being like, maybe I don't have any other stories, to being like, my life is a story and I'm going to tell it in a fantasy way. Like, in the end, when it shows his new book and he's reading it, and there's like Sabrina and Hannah, like Lady Hannah and like all that stuff, and it's this fantasy thing, and like Jack is technically Clark, and then Lady Andrea is Andy, and there's Birdie's in the book too, and he uses the summer as the inspiration for his next book, and I love that a lot. It was just, it was so great. And then I read the name of the book at the bottom, and it's The Coin of the Realm, which was that little like turn of phrase that Andy had used. Oh, I love that a lot. My second favorite part in this book was definitely the scavenger hunt, and I love that part a lot. I like how Toby and Andy were paired together, and I like how Tom and Clark were. You know, I like how that happened so then they could get Andy's dad involved, but I really kind of wish it was Clark and Andy that were doing it together, that were the team in the scavenger hunt, but I also like how it wasn't like that as well. I like when Clark kisses her and steals her keys. That is such a great part. I love that so much. She's just like, okay, let's go to my house, and then she's like, crap, where are my keys? And she's like, Clark stole my keys. Oh my gosh. That was great. And then when afterwards, when she was just like, you stole my keys, and he's like, yeah, that was all me. And it's so great. I loved it a lot. And then when Tom pays the waitress to not give them the menu, that was so funny. And when they took all the gumballs as well. And also when they go to Captain Pizza and Dawn and Emily is there. Emily doesn't work at the ice cream shop anymore. She moves over to the pizza place. Oh, I love that a lot. And it made me happy because it means Dawn and Emily like fix their relationship, because I don't think it's since you've been gone that their relationship was mended. Their friendship. I don't think that happened. I had like a few things that just I had problems with, so that's why I'm giving it 1 star less than 5 out of 5 stars. One thing that annoyed me, I think Morgan Matson caught herself, because like through like 1/2 of the book, all the characters like crossed and then like uncrossed their arm within the same sentence. Like that happened for half the book, and it made me so pissed because I caught it every time and I was like, why are you doing this? It's kind of like how always, like in almost all the YA books I've read, you can find the line, I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. This book had that line too, but it also had the thing where she used that line over and over where they crossed and uncrossed their arms in front of their chest, which like really pissed me off. But I think she caught herself because halfway through it they stopped doing that. And like I don't do that, like crossing my arms over my chest is like, I don't like that feeling. Overall it's just a great book. The writing was pretty good. Plot was alright. Like I said, I'm not a huge contemporary fan, so reading this was a little me having to adjust to like people not having to run away from being killed. But overall I thought it was great. I liked it a lot. Like I said in the beginning, I kind of wished that there's a book about Toby finding someone, because they had set up Toby and the guy in the museum because he had liked her, and I thought that was going to be a thing and that's how she was going to get over Wyatt, but that never happened. So I kind of want there to be a book about Toby, just like Toby finding herself, becoming friends with Bree again, and also getting with someone. Because I really like Toby. Toby was, I feel like, outshined Bree and Palmer, and sometimes Andy just a little bit. I didn't like how needy Toby was. Like I feel like that's something that she can overcome. Yeah, like I really kind of want a book about Toby just because I feel like she needs one. That's all I have to say about this book. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like. Make sure to comment down below what your favorite part was, or if you agreed with anything I said or disagreed with anything I said, just comment down below. Make sure to subscribe to get notified when I make a new video. And also, if you want to ring that bell and become part of the notification squad, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!